Hey, I'm your humble host, Phil Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. Liking and subscribing as you do. Hey, as soon as you have a chance, please go on over to YouTube after this video. Like and subscribe. Phil Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive. Plenty of tasty and delicious politics for us to sink our teeth into, and definitely can't wait to talk about my IPA of the week. This ain't even an IPA, it's just a really, really good beer, and we got to talk about it. But first of all, let's talk politics, because that's what you're here for, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? It's Sunday night. It must be time for urban politics, right? So check it out. Let's talk about Joe Biden and the Democrats. Things that Joe Biden has brought to us in his administration. Now, you will hear a lot of people on the right go on and on and on, talk about are things better now that Joe Biden is taking office? And sometimes they'll try and say no. And I'm like, well, yeah, he's definitely better than the guy before him. And if you don't believe it, just look at some of the things that he has accomplished. Now, Trump promised a lot of stuff, right? But the only thing that he really succeeded in doing was blowing a hole in the deficit, giving all his rich buddies a tax break. And that was about it. He didn't do anything for infrastructure. He didn't do anything when it comes to climate change. He didn't really do anything, but just give a lot of rich people like him a really, really nice tax break, right? So let's talk about some of the things that Joe Biden has brought to you. Passed the American Rescue Plan, which provided free vaccinations when all that COVID stuff was going on. COVID is actually still going on right now. It's a thing. There's still people dying from it. You don't hear about it in the news because people are just plumb sick of talking about it. They don't even care anymore, and I get it. I talked about it at nauseam on this show myself, but it gets to a point to where it's like, a million other things going on. COVID's still going on. It is what it is, but when it did first hit and we were all concerned about it, you know what I'm saying, and we needed somebody to step up and take action. Joe Biden did that. He came with the the American Rescue Plan, which provided free vaccinations, which was a good thing. Gun safety package, which brings us just a little bit closer to getting what we really needed, some real life comprehensive bipartisan gun reform in this country. That got us a little bit closer. We definitely need another ban on assault rifles. We're not there yet. We need to be. You'd think we would be with all these mass shootings that we've seen, especially as of late. But we're not there, but at least they got that passed. That's something. Something's always better than nothing, ladies and gentlemen. So we got that all. The CHIPS Act, which has led to an explosion in manufacturing jobs, and some of that's even coming here to, my great state, the state of OH and a dime. We got an Intel place coming here, and they're building a huge compound. They're going to have all these nice jobs or whatever, and all these people are coming from out of town who are going to have these nice jobs and these nice salaries. I don't know where they're going to live. I've talked about that on this show too. That's another topic for another show. But with that said, Joe Biden did do that. That's a huge thing. That's the CHIPS Act that's going to make all those jobs and all that opportunity come to fruition. The PACT Act, which is funding for sick veterans. Come on now. That's always a good thing. I tell people all the time, when you're walking down the street and you see a veteran, someone who put their life, and their well-being on the line for these United States of America, then they come back here and they don't have a house, they don't have a car, they don't have a job, they don't have anything, don't even have use of their mental faculties, some of these ladies and gentlemen. We should all be ashamed. I should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. Because here's a person who went off, and some of my uncles will say, spilt blood in foreign mud. And then they come back home and they can't even get a meal. And they can't even get a house or place to stay. So that's really pathetic. So the fact that they have this PAC Act, funding for sick vets, that's huge. And they always need it. So there's that. The Inflation Reduction Act, which allows the government to negotiate better health care and drug prices, and it makes sure that rich people are paying their fair share. That's a great thing right there. Mr. Biden brought that to you. Forgave at least tried to forgive $20,000 in student loan debt, which got overturned by our conservative majority that's on the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that the president does not have the authority to forgive all those people's college debts. So, but with that said, and I talked about it last week on the show, Joe Biden was like, hey, look, I'm never going to apologize for trying to help the American people, trying to ease some of the suffering that a lot of people are still going through behind this pandemic. And then he got on the news too and said that, look, he said, and it wasn't false hope. He took issue with the fact that they tried to say, oh, Joe Biden giving people false hope. It wasn't that. He said it was real hope. It was real hope. But the Supreme Court took that hope away. But he said, guess what? That's one avenue that's been blocked. He said, we'll go another avenue. And I'm going to still make sure that people get some relief on their student loans. So I like that too. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden letting you know, hey, look, we tried that. It didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Those plans were thwarted by the conservative majority on the Supreme Court. But guess what? We got other tricks up our sleeves, and we ain't done fighting yet. That's a real president, letting you know that, hey, guess what? I got blocked right there. But it ain't no thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna juke him like Emmett Smith. I'm gonna find another way up in there to help you American people out. I like that in them. The inflation. Already talked about that. Pardon every American of marijuana charges at the federal level. That's huge. Let me say that again. Pardon every American of marijuana charges at the federal level, and instructed the HHS and the Attorney General to change marijuana from being a Schedule I drug. That's huge. How many people are sitting in jail right now over marijuana offenses and stuff like that because they had like a nick bag or a dime bag or something like that? And no matter what you feel about that drug or how it should or shouldn't be legal or illegal or not, the fact that so many states have made it legal, that so many states, including this one, have made it legal for medical purposes, and it looks like recreation is soon to come after it in all of these 50 states because they make so much money, and none of these states want to turn a blind eye to all that money. So with that going on, it's cool that the president stepped up and said, guess what? Let's stop playing these games. Let's go ahead and get rid of these people's charges at the federal level. Let's go ahead and change marijuana from a Schedule I drug because it just ain't that serious, obviously, right? So there's that. So these are things that Joe Biden and the Democrats, but Joe Biden has brought to you. You know what I'm saying? So when people sit there and try and say, oh, what has he done or whatever, you can point to that right there. You know, those are some things right there that he's done. Like I said, the student loan payments, he tried to do that. The conservative majority on the Supreme Court ruled that unconstitutional, said that he can't do that, but he said he's not done fighting. He's going to find another way to get it done. So hats off to Mr. Biden. So he's brought you all those things. He's looking to bring more. So really, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I vote people and not the party. But right now, this guy, Joe Biden, is doing a pretty good job. I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I just report the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on, I want to talk about DeSantis, the idiot. This dude talking about if he does get the reins to the White House, if he does get the executive spot, he says that he will get rid of the Department of Commerce, the Department of Education, and he'll get rid of the IRS and the Department of Energy. That's ridiculous. They always talking about getting rid of the Department of... Well, first of all, let's deal with the IRS. Now, believe it or not, I don't think... We shouldn't get rid of the IRS. That'd be ludicrous. Don't get rid of the IRS. But the IRS's job could be made a lot simpler. We could be doing this whole tax thing a lot simpler. I don't know if it's in Japan or China or one of those. I was reading that basically their taxes is a postcard that you get from, you know what I'm saying, whatever their tax organization name is. For us to be the IRS, you get a postcard once a year from them, and they would say, boom, here's what you owe or here's what we owe you. And that'd be it. And if you don't agree with it, then you can send something back and then you can get into some paperwork over that. Or if everything is all hunky-dory and all fine, you sign off on it and you're done. Why isn't it like that here? You know what I'm saying? Why do we have an Internal Revenue Service, but yet me and you still have to do our own taxes or pay somebody to do our taxes? How pathetic is that? You know, got to pay somebody to do your taxes or you have to do your own taxes. We have a whole government institution. What are they doing up there? What are y'all doing? If we're already doing our own taxes, and then what are they doing? Rechecking the math before they dole out the money? How about y'all just do the math initially, send us something in the mail saying, here's what you owe or here's what we owe you, and then we send something back saying, yes, we agree or no, we don't agree. That will simplify this thing. We can do it. Other countries are doing it. That's what you do. You don't get rid of the IRS. You tweak it and make it better. So that's what I would say to Mr. DeSantis about a lot of stuff. The Department of Commerce, the Department of Energy, you don't get rid of it. You tweak it and make it better. You know what I'm saying? You cut off the crust of this crap. Because a lot of these agencies, they got a lot of crust, a lot of unneeded stuff. You know, you get rid of some of that waste, trim some of that fat, you know, and then you get to the lean piece of this legislation. You know, you get to the lean piece of this department or whatever. And ain't no need to be getting rid of the whole department. Republicans are always on that. They're always talking about small government. But really what they're talking about is no regulation and no government. Just everybody, you know, every man and woman fending for themselves, which is fine when you're made of money. When you're not made of money, that ain't fine. Actually, it ain't fine when you're made of money, because people need government. There are government institutions that actually work good and help people. So we should keep that going. So it's ridiculous. And a lot of this is just this is bluster anyway. He ain't getting rid of the IRS. He's not getting rid of the Department of Energy. Department of Education, why would you want to get rid of that? Now, he would want to get rid of that because he been 40 going north burning books and all this other stupid stuff. But that's a part of him talking about coming after, I got to get my quotes together, wokeism. He couldn't even tell you what that is. If you went to Ron DeSantis and asked him, what does it mean to be woke? What is wokeism? He'd give you a whole bunch of crap, but he couldn't nail it down for you because it ain't, oh, you know what it is? It's anything that doesn't cater to old white men. Then it's woke, and it's something he don't want. Well, he needs to get over it. Times are a-changing, buddy, and you're going to have to change with those times. And guess what? So is Florida. All these little games he playing, it's working for now, but in a minute here, he'll be old news because he's not going to win the executive seat. He's not going to win for president. So after this run, we'll probably be done hearing the name DeSantis, the whatever, the idiot who think that he going to go up against Mickey Mouse, you know what I'm saying, and minorities in the LGBTQ community and fare well when he's the governor of a state that he's tanking, especially financially, because of some of these idiot moves that he's doing. But there's that. These are things that he said he wants to do if he becomes president. So ask yourself, do you want a president who would sit there and say out of his mouth he wants to get rid of the Department of Energy? Say out of his mouth he wants to get rid of the Department of Education. That's ludicrous. Anybody with a brain in their head knows that that is brainless, that is mindless, that is stupid talk. That guy does not deserve your vote, right? And then he said if Congress won't get rid of these agencies, then he will use them to fight that wokeism that's creeping into our institutions. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Wokeism, like I say, he couldn't even tell you what it is. I just told you what it is. But that's the right's new thing. We're fighting wokeism. We're fighting the woke. And they can't even tell you what the woke is. All of them are pretty sleep, if you ask me, because they couldn't even wake up and tell you what the heck it means to be woke. You know, that's just something they heard and they done grabbed onto it, and now they're going to ride it till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, but that's why that guy doesn't deserve your vote, doesn't deserve my vote, doesn't deserve anybody's vote who is of sound mind and has a brain in their head, like is of sound mind and it isn't just straight up crazy or a lunatic. The man's a lunatic. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on with DeSantis. Give him your, if you want an autocrat, you know what I'm saying? Said, you know, this guy basically telling you here's all the political agencies that he wants to use to go against his political adversaries. Said every autocrat ever in history. That is all. That's being a dictator, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they do. You know, that's what autocracy is. Going after those who don't agree with us and going after them with all of our government might and with all of our legal might. And that's not the type of government that we want or need. But he's on that. The Republicans seem like they on that because they just want to win, win, win at all costs. Even if they got to cheat, even if they got to play some dirty pool, they just want to win, 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 win. I don't think it's going to work. Please, ladies and gentlemen, vote and make sure that it don't work. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk about 3 things that you can do to be happier. And this is according to some science journals I was reading, right? Number 1, they said, first of all, these are things to buy to be happier. These are things that you can purchase, right, with money to make you happier. Number 1, experiences. They said this leads to an increased happiness before, during, and after the event. And they said, really, this is huge with the young people. Buying experiences. What do I mean by that? Maybe some of y'all seen the Puff Daddy video with Puff and Mace, and they were in the zero gravity chamber. They had those goggles on, they were floating and flipping around and all that. Now, you know what I'm saying? There was a time I wanted to take a date to one of those a million years ago, and I called to see how much it was. I think it was $5,000 for 2 hours in this little zero gravity machine. Now that's a fun 2 hours. And definitely some real nice uploadable video to Instagram. But I ain't got $5,000 to trick away on 2 hours. I ain't doing it like that. But if you are doing it like that and you do have that type of money, You might want to invest in that type of an experience because that's special. That's something interesting. They said that memory is going to last. And that's what they said these days. The youth are into that. Getting these experiences and these memories. They'd rather have a good experience than spend that money on something else, maybe trivial or, maybe some big fancy thing or whatever. They want to spend it on an experience because that's something that you'll have in here forever. So that's something right there. Spend your money on experiences to add to your happiness. Another thing they said is pro-social spending, which is buying things for other people and donating to charity. That's huge right there, and that really, really, really makes you feel good. I don't care who you are or, what's going on. Donating to charity will usually make you feel good, especially if it's a charity that you really care about. How about this, ladies and gentlemen? You don't have to donate to St. Jude, although you could, and that's a great thing. You don't have to donate to Children's Hospital, although you should, and that's a great thing. You can donate to people who who need the money. There's a homeless guy living at the end of your block. Give him $5, $10 if you got it. If you know the brother or sister ain't gonna run and go get some liquor or get some drugs, or how about this? Maybe you don't even care. You're like, if that's what they need in their life, I'm gonna give them this money and you spend it as you see fit, ma'am or sir. But that right there, man, that's giving back. That is pro-social spending. You know what I'm saying? Giving to a cause, giving to a charity, giving to someone. Yeah, that's going to make you feel good. That's going to warm the inner cockles of your heart, ladies and gentlemen. Number 3, buy time. Purchasing the removal of negative experiences. What does that mean? Look, you got to clean your house, right? If you don't, you have a trifling nasty house. So pay somebody to come in there and clean your house. You know what I'm saying? I work with a student after school hours, and you know what I'm saying, his parents, they're not rich or anything. These are middle class people, but they have cleaners who come in and clean the home because they got other stuff to do. They have to take care of their son. They got another son who's in college. I'm sure they got plenty of stuff to do, and when someone is cleaning their house, that's time that they can take to do other things. I got a friend of mine, we talked about this. As a matter of fact, I think my dude Dave, who I had on the show a couple of weekends ago, he talked about this because he's really big with this. He does this all the time. He told buying time. He said, yeah, I got somebody who does my lawn. They clean the lawn, not clean the lawn, but cut the lawn. He said, I've had the same guy for years, because that's one less thing for him to have to do. I mean, it's a business owner, so he got to take care of his business, got to take care of his family, got a million things he's doing. Why not take cutting the lawn off of his plate, which he does? And he told me that it's immensely helpful. It's huge. It helps. It's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Buying time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe get somebody to clean your house. Maybe get somebody to wash your dog so you don't have to do it. So you can do something else while they're taking the time to wash your dog. Maybe get somebody to mow your lawn. So while they're mowing the lawn, you can be doing whatever else you need to do instead of mowing that lawn. So those things to think about, but those are 3 things that can make you, 3 things that you can spend your money on that make you a happier individual. They, you know what I'm saying, experiences, pro-social spending, and buying the time. I thought that was huge, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? So that's really something for us all to remember, even yours truly, because I get bogged down in that too. I end up doing a lot of stuff that I probably should go ahead and subcontract out, try and have somebody else do. Now, a lot of times I think people are thinking, having somebody come and clean your house or something like that, that's for rich people, that's for somebody who has a maid or a butler. No, like I said, these folk that I was talking about are regular people just like me and you. They aren't no maid, they aren't no butler, and they just live in a nice suburban home. But, you know what I'm saying, they get the home clean because that's like I said, someone can be cleaning their home while they're doing other things that they need to do that benefit and add to their life. So, before I get out of here, though, those are 3 things. Remember those 3 things you can buy and make you happier. Before I get out of here, do I want to deal with my beer of the week? This is not an IPA, ladies and gentlemen, but it's really, really good. And this is by Heart State, which is out of Gahanna, Ohio. Actually, it says this is a pillow-like vanilla and sour orange beer, sour ale brewed with orange and vanilla. Yep, and it's ACHE. There it is, by Heart State. As good as 5.5% alcohol. Can you see that right there? 5.5% alcohol. This is really delicious. What's interesting about this is it's extremely tart. I don't think I've ever had a beer this tart. Now, I like tart things. I like extreme flavors. And this, ladies and gentlemen, woo! Let me try it. Whoa, it is extreme. I'm going to hit you right here. With every sip. I don't care if you've been sipping this for 10 minutes or 10 days. You're going to feel it back there. So, This is a good little beer. 5.5. That's not even that much. You drink one or two of these, you still be good, for the night. You're not gonna feel it all like that or whatever. But it's delicious and it's extremely tart. I mean, of all of these flavors, the vanilla and the sour orange and all that, what I taste most is the sour. That sour hits you like, And I've never had a beer that was just that sour, but I like that. I like extreme flavors. And that right there, that orange, and that's what it is. Orange creamsicle sour. They said it's crisp, tart, fruity, and sweet. I would say tart most describes this beer. Tart, very tart. But also very delicious. It's eye-opening. You know what I'm saying? It's crisp, it's light, it's fresh. There it is. So that is my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get on about it here. As I say, I'm running out of time. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take yourself on over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. But, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? And as always, see you around like a donut.